Airplanes. Stop clicking away from the video, let me get to my point. You've heard of them, right? Well, I'd hope so, because if you don't, then you probably don't go outside. Welcome to the club. You know those vehicles with wings that go really fast and fly in the air to get to places faster? Yeah, those things. But do you know about Boeings, Airbuses, and that one airline that makes turbulence possible on the ground? No? Well, you come to the right place. Not for the airlines, though. I just had to put a Ryanair joke in there. Essential. As you probably already knew, Splatoon 3 has a stage called Marlin Airport, which takes place at, you guessed it, an airport. And in the background of the stage, there are 5 parked airplanes. I mean, it is an airport, which gave me a great idea. To find out the models of each plane like any other Splatoon/airplane nerd would do. Actually, I'm probably, like, the only one of those. To find this out, I used the methods that all flight nerds know to differentiate Boeing models and Airbus models. That being to look at the cockpit windows, noses, and also features that are unique to a certain model. The main difference between Airbuses and Boeings are, 1. Boeing is a US company, while Airbus is a European company. But this doesn't help much because airplanes are always registered to different countries. 2. Boeing noses are more pointed, kind of like a needle under a microscope, while Airbus noses are more bulbous and round. 3. 2 outward windows on both sides of a Boeing usually slant downwards at the bottom, creating a V shape, while the Airbus's outward windows are notched at the top corners. 4. If you're able to look in the cockpit, Boeing uses the yoke, kind of like a steering wheel, while Airbuses use flight sticks. 5. Some models contain features that are exclusive to said models, such as the Airbus A380 having 2 floors, the Boeing 747 having a second floor that doesn't extend to the back of the plane, the Boeing 727 having 3 rear-mounted engines, and so on. 6. The airline using the plane can usually help you figure out what model is being used, or at least eliminate a few. For example, Ryanair only uses the Boeing 737 and buys them in bulk for discounts because they're cheap like that. But anyways, I know you guys are dying to know what kind of planes are present in Marlin Airport. I mean, you're probably not, but you clicked on this video, so you must be at least a tad interested. So let's just get started. So we'll start with this white and pink plane to the very right of Alpha Teen's spawn. The double-decker design immediately shows that this is an Airbus A380, a model that was released in 2007, used primarily by a few Asian, European, and 1 Australian airlines, most notably Emirates. Oh, how much I would pay to ride first class in one of those things. Wait, am I recording? Interestingly, the logo is the same color scheme as Hawaiian Airlines if the woman was replaced by an angelfish. For some reason though, this A380 has 6 engines when the original has 4. Talk about unnecessary and a waste of money. But now if we look behind Alpha Team spawn, we'll find a red, white, and blue plane, and the windows tell me it's a Boeing, and the elevated horizontal stabilizer and 3 rear-mounted engines make it obvious that this is a Boeing 727, which was released in 1962. Which is weird because the 727 is actually no longer used for commercial service and is exclusively used for cargo and executive transport. This plane looks an awful lot like a commercial plane, so I guess Boeing felt bad leaving them out and decided to bring it back into commercial use. Behind the 727 is an off-the-hook plane, which looks to be split between a Boeing 747 for the front and a 727 for the back. Every plane nerd knows the 747 as the queen of the skies, and is operated by European and Asian airlines for commercial use, and by US airlines for cargo. And you're already familiar with the 727. This is a rather odd combination, so either Boeing decided to make one of these in the future, or Off the Hook are so rich that they had one custom made and delivered to use as a private jet. Or maybe they started a cargo company or airline. Just a theory, though. Okay! Next, if we walk for a bit over to this area, we can see another plane taxiing and eventually parking here, which, judging by the windows and there being 2 jet bridges, is a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, a 2011 model which is primarily used by American, United, and Hawaiian Airlines, and an order for 30 planes has been placed by Delta. For some reason though, this 787 has 4 engines while the original only has 2. This logo also very closely resembles Lufthansa German Airlines, except it's blue and orange with a flying fish instead of black and yellow with a bird. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Sorry, what was I saying? Alright. The final plane I'm looking at can be depicted as a short Boeing 717, but it's likely a Cessna Citation from 1969, which is exclusively a business plane model. And judging by the colors and logo on the plane, I think it's safe to say this is Deep Cut's private jet. I don't know why they'd need it though, considering they probably don't leave in Cadia or the Splatlands. How big is this Splatoon area anyway? And before you ask about the planes that take off in the background every once in a while, it's hard to get a clear view of the features, but judging by the noses, they appear to be all Boeings. Likely a 737, 777, or 787 Dreamliner, so use your imagination. These planes also have logos that resemble different airlines, notably Japan Airlines with a different bird, and all Nippon Airways with the lighter blue color. Also, it's impressive that they take off within 10 seconds after firing up the engines, because planes usually need at least 30 seconds to take off after firing the engines. Granted, Splatoon is set like 12,000 years in the future, so they probably figured out something with that time. Also, there are 2 planes in the background behind the off-the-hook plane. One is in a hangar, and one other, but there's a stupid jet bridge blocking the front. Shame on you. Also, I can't help but think that the airport itself looks like a mix of Denver International Airport and Gerald R. Ford International Airport. Granted, I haven't been to many airports in my day, but it still looks like it, minus the Denver Hotel, but whoever cared about that. 2 of my favorite airports crammed into one, so I know where I'm going next. So now you're probably wondering, Kelvin, how the heck did you get this idea? Well, first off, if you look at my community posts often, you'll know that I traveled to Hawaii a little while back. And during that trip, I went on a total of 5 flights. And let's just say I became a little obsessed with airplanes because of it. Especially after I watched a few videos by Lux Planes, whose content appears in this video. Second, I really like Splatoon. You know, in case you couldn't already tell. That's the whole second reason. Crazy, I know. That's it. Subscribe if you like airplanes. Goodbye.